I'm going to be talking about living inside of a box and growing up in a cage. Not literally, but in the cage of our parents' expectations and our parents' rules and their parenting, essentially. And not even just that, but who they are as people and how that affects our mentality and ability to see our place in this world. It literally builds the foundations of who we are as people. And only very recently have I been able to understand that my position in the world isn't what I thought it was when I was growing up. When I was growing up, and even when I was, say, 16, 17, figuring out what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, the options were only contained to what I believed was possible. And not just what I believed was possible, but also what my subconscious restrictions and limitations were. They only seen a life as I'm not going to go into the actual degree that I was studying, but a life as that professional. And it wasn't like a high ranking place. And I'm not saying that you have to be high ranking, but it was specifically built from the barrier of what I thought was possible. And now that I'm at the age of 26 that I am now, I understand that more things are possible and I'm learning to actualize that. But before, I was a waiter, I was a bartender, and I didn't see... Obviously, I see my own potential to be able to be something more, but I couldn't really wrap my hands around that. I couldn't wrap my mind around that. And now, I'm working a job that is pretty cool. I cook for a family, a chef, and help out. It's not exactly the end goal. It's not exactly where I want to be. No, it is where I want to be right now, but I still understand that there's so much more potential to capture. And that's what I'm trying to discuss in this video, is that we need to be able to understand that we are so much more than the environment that we grew up in. And that might not apply to every single person, because some people grew in an environment that they were allowed to see their potential and allowed to flourish into the person that they would like to be, rather than just a form of a person that the parents want them to be. Or even kids that were malnourished from literally everything, whether that be physical or emotional sort of love. Despite all of that, we need to bring ourselves to a place of understanding our potential. But how can you do that? Once you've been raised in that sort of environment, it's quite hard to snap out of that delusion and understand that there's so much more to life than just your upbringing. And one thing that I want you to realize is the fact that you are not a product of your upbringing. You can change your life if you first believe in yourself. If you just start to understand that you have the same potential as every other human on the planet, to an extent. Obviously, some people are born into royalty, some people are born into those networks, but that does not mean that you can't build those networks. That does not mean that you can upskill your way into the networks of people that will be able to activate your potential. You have to activate your potential to walk into networks of people where they see your potential. There's no other way. You need to see it in yourself first. And some people, I can see the potential and help other people realize that, and I feel like that's a gift of mine. But I've never had that sort of person for my own self. I've had to figure this out basically on my own measure. And recently, I've just sold something that is the first sale of that regard. It's the highest amount of money that I've ever made from selling something. And this makes me realize that it's actually possible. Like I used to sell clothes back in the day. So like the highest sale that I got on the clothes was like 150 quid, and now I've like significantly upped that value. And I just think, if I do this for the next 10 years, can I not 10x that value? Like if the highest thing that I sold when I was like 14 was like this £2 Oreo, and then when I'm 21 I'm selling clothes for like 60 quid, and then when I'm 22, 23 I'm selling something for 100, and I'm 26 now, selling something for X amount of money. I've essentially 10, 20, 100 times X how much I've made when I was like 14. And that's just in the space of 12 years. So I'm thinking, what if I just continue to build the momentum of whatever it is that I'm working on? Like what will happen when I'm 20, when 20 years have elapsed and I've continued to walk down the path of entrepreneurship? And I grew up in an environment that none of that, absolutely zero of that was encouraged. None of that was encouraged. Not much was encouraged. There wasn't much growth. No one was doing much when I was young. There wasn't many people to look up to. I grew up in a small little town in the UK, and there wasn't much to look up to. I didn't have role models to be able to aspire myself to be, and everybody that I could have aspired myself to be, then they were either just on the telly, on social media when it was starting to come around, and just not physically around me. So it's hard for the mentality to be able to see that person as an actual role model because of the lack of like closeness to that person. But now I see all these people, and because my mindset has kind of been unlocked from the sort of chains of poverty and depravity and the poverty cycle, I see all of these people as just like successful business people, whether that be like Sweatshirt or who's another example that I'm thinking of, like Tyler the Creator. Those are music artists. They're actually just successful businessmen. People in my network, like they're actually just successful business people, and they've earned that through their own decisions. And that's what it is. It's just your own decisions. Like, one thing that I realized, that the only difference between me and Tyler the Creator is a set of decisions that we made. He made a different set of decisions that got him to a place that he is now. So, just to round it back, think outside of the box that you're comfortable thinking in. Think in a way of, how can I activate the dormant potential that lies within me? What uncomfortable things do I have to do that will allow me to get to the place that I truly desire to be? Because you might not even desire to be in a place that's greater than what you believe yourself to be able to do. You might have just caged your potential into a place of believing yourself to only be able to do X, but you're actually capable to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But because of the restrictive environment that you grew up in, you might not see that as a possibility because of the fact that you've not been allowed to see that it's a possibility. You know, you've not had anyone around you to show you that, yes, it is. You can become a millionaire. You can become a multimillionaire. You can earn hundreds of thousands of pounds. You can earn 4 or 5 grand from one sale. Like, you can do these things, but you just have to set yourself on the path to figure out how to do them, and only you can do that for yourself. You could buy a course, you could buy coaching, you could buy this, you could buy that, but nothing is ever going to just give you the full blueprint as to how you personally can do that. You know, that's for you to do. That's literally only you can do that, and no one can help you to do that, and no one's going to help you until you're super successful and people are going to want to help you because it helps them. And that's literally it. Like, that's the biggest incentive, is that selfishly we want to make our situations better. So until someone can fully trust that whatever you do is going to help them make their situation better, then you're not going to be able to convince them, and that's okay. We just have the responsibility to be able to put ourselves in a position of someone that can actively improve the lives of not just ourselves but the people around us, and eventually that will spill onto being able to support a larger amount of people in charitable ways, in these ways, those ways, and just being able to be a sound set of, like, being able to provide a sound set of advice to other people. But yeah, break out of the cage of your upbringing and the psychological encasing that you have wrapped yourself in order to activate and chase and actualize your dormant potential. Ciao.